We are gathered this evening to remember and relish the memories which have contributed to the rich heritage of our Corps. We join all Marines throughout the world in paying special tribute to those Marines of a different era and a different uniform who have defined and exemplified the highest traditions of our Corps. November 10, 1775. The Continental Congress raised the first call for volunteers to serve afloat or ashore. At Tun Tavern in Philadelphia, the green uniform of the Continental Marines made its first appearance and marked the birth of the United States Marine Corps. Shortly thereafter, 200 Marines and 50 sailors, led by Captain Samuel Nicholas, made the first of more than 500 landings on foreign shores. This expeditionary force stormed the beaches of New Providence Island in the Bahamas. They seized 2 forts as well as the town of Nassau. They re-embarked with captured guns and vital supplies that would later be used to support General Washington's Continental Army. 10 November 1812. 600 searing miles of desert, from Alexandria to Tripoli, where Lieutenant Presley O'Bannon led his small party of Marines against fearful odds, routing the enemy when he turned their own cannons against them. In 1812, during the final conflict with England, Marines served well aboard ships of the fleet. The Marines were aboard the frigate USS Chesapeake and held the British boarding parties at bay when Admiral Lawrence ordered, "Don't give up the ship." The Marines at Bladensburg stopped 15 times their number in British regulars, and on November 10, 1814, Marines looked back as we look back now on many years of tasks well done. November 1918. It was called the War to End All Wars, and the Marines were there. In the mud-filled trenches of France, they faced a brutal enemy and impossible odds. At places like Belleau Wood, Soissons, and Blancmont, Marines fought with such ferocity that the Germans themselves gave them a name that would echo through history: Teufelhunden, Devil Dogs. Leaders like Brigadier General John A. Lejeune, Major Holland M. Smith, First Sergeant Dan Daly, and Corporal John S. Pruitt embodied the courage, grit, and fighting spirit that defined our Corps. They led from the front, inspired their Marines, and turned the tide of battle against Hitler's army. In the fields of France, through smoke and chaos, the Marines of World War I forged a legacy of valor that still defines who we are today. Warriors of unmatched resolve, bound by honor and faithful to the end. February 19th, 1945. The United States Marine Corps assaulted the island of Iwo Jima, which was a key piece of terrain in the Pacific Island hopping campaign of World War II. By February 23rd, only 4 days into the month-long battle, they had taken the island's most prominent terrain feature, Mount Suribachi. When the flag was raised to signify that the land had been secured, a war correspondent, Joe Rosenthal, took a photograph that would forever immortalize the sacrifices all Marines have made since 1775. Uncommon valor was indeed a common virtue. November 1950. As the North Korean armies broke through ill-prepared southern defenses and raced south, Marine combat units were hastily brought up to strength and deployed to Korea. The stalwart stand of the Fire Brigade at Pusan captured the attention of the world. Effective North Korean resistance ended within a few months, but the Chinese attack at Chosin Reservoir initiated a whole new war. The retrograde from Chosin will live forever in Marine Corps legend. With many wounded and frostbitten, Marines streamed down the road from Udom Ni, carrying their dead as well as their wounded. The Marine fighting spirit was proclaimed to the world by General Smith. Retreat, hell! We're just advancing in a different direction. November 1965. Marines once again found themselves in the thick of battle. this time in the unforgiving jungles of Vietnam. In sweltering heat, through monsoon rains and endless firefights, Marines fought an enemy who was everywhere and nowhere all at once. Marine aviation and ground units worked hand in hand, setting new standards of excellence in close air support and small unit tactics. The hills, the villages, and the dense brush became proving grounds for the kind of courage that can't be taught, only revealed. Thousands of patrols, each a story of determination, sacrifice, and brotherhood, were written not by generals or admirals, but by corporals, lance corporals, and privates who refused to quit. These Marines embodied the fighting spirit of our Corps, relentless, adaptable, and unbreakable. Their mission was clear: to preserve freedom and protect the innocent from communist aggression. And though the battles were hard and the losses were many, the performance of the Marine Corps was steadfast and true. In the jungles of Vietnam, our legacy was not measured in ground gained, but in the courage of the Marines who never backed down, who fought for one another, and who upheld the honor of our Corps no matter the cost. 10 November 1990. Marines again celebrate their birthday on foreign soil. In the desert of Southwest Asia, Marines stand as a barrier against the blatant aggression of Saddam Hussein. In a war which lasted 100 hours, the Marine Air-Ground Team once again proved itself as the expeditionary force of choice. The nation's 911 call is answered by the United States Marine Corps. Since the end of the Cold War, Marines have answered the call to serve wherever the nation has needed them. General John A. Lejeune once said, "Those Marines will be found equal to every emergency in the future." And his words still ring true today. From disaster relief and humanitarian missions to fierce combat operations across the globe, Marines have proven time and time again that they remain America's premier fighting force. After the attacks on September 11th, Marines once again found themselves in the fight. In the cities of Fallujah and Ramadi, across the deserts of Marjah and Sangin, and in countless villages and cities, Marines fought with honor and courage, writing new chapters in the proud history of our Corps. For 250 years, America's Marines have lived up to our motto, Semper Fidelis, always faithful, excellence and readiness in peace, valor and unbreakable will in war. As long as there are those who love freedom more than life itself, the world will know that there stands a force unmatched in resolve and spirit. The few, the proud, the United States Marines.